Hey, what's up, everybody? So today, here in Comor with Andreas.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And I thought it'd be a great idea to do a short interview with Andreas, ask him some questions about what brought him out here to Whistler, what it's like to work in a snowboard shop, and just share some of his passion of snowboarding with you guys. So just to kick it off, Andreas, what brought you to Whistler the first time? Like, what was, I know you're from Toronto.
I'm from Toronto.
You made the flight. So what was the thing? What was that spark?
I didn't make the flight. I made the drive, and
drive.
that's a fun one, especially if you do the Canadian route, because it takes 58 hours of pure driving.
Nice.
Which some people do in a week, and other people do in 2.5 days, like I did, with just straight driving. So you're at the side of the road.
So you were committed. You were just
I was committed, man.
I'm going.
Yeah, the reason I moved out here was because the world outside of Whistler was becoming a little hectic. You know, there's a lot going on, world politics, conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know, where's the money coming from? What's the world gonna do? Blah, blah, blah. It was very, very, very stressful.
And you decided to simplify things.
Yeah, I've told Kevin before, but I was super depressed before I moved out here.
Okay.
When I was in Ontario, I was just sort of like, I think everybody in Ontario is sort of caught up in this headspace where they're like, gotta get a car, gotta have a house, gotta have a job, gotta have a career, gotta get a wife, have some kids. It's all part of like a plan. And I was just like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing, and all I want to do is go snowboarding. And I was already snowboarding twice a week, every week, 2 hours to Blue Mountain, like in Collingwood. So 2 hours there, 2 hours back, twice a week, equated to 8 hours of driving every week. And at the end of my season, I was like, where's all my money going? And all of my money was going to gas. So I was like, you know what? I could just save that money and move to Whistler.
So why Whistler? There's like lots of mountains in Canada. There's a whole plethora of mountains across the country. So what drew you to Whistler?
Whistler is the mecca of snowboarding. It's the biggest. It's the best. It's got the most versatile terrain. And I had been here once before in 2006 with my dad. He had, taken me on vacation here.
Nice.
And it was super fun. And I was just like, oh my God. I thought that I was a really good snowboarder back in Ontario. And then when I started snowboarding here in Whistler, I was like, oh, this is the most humbling experience ever. I suck.
Nice, man. Just a quick update, guys. If you have any questions for Andreas, we'll pick some questions at about the 20-minute mark. So leave a few questions for him, and we'll get to that. I want to know more about, so you drove out to Whistler, and then how did you land in Comor?
Oh, so
because if you guys don't know, Comor is a snowboard shop here in town, and that's how we met. Was just coming into the shop to, get some gear, get some boots, and Andreas seemed like a friendly dude. So.
I still remember the first time that Kevin and TJ. Sorry, no, it wasn't even TJ. It was Kevin and Chris came in.
Yep.
And they were like scoping out, trying to get answers on gear. They were like, "Oh man, like, what do you know about this? Do you mind if we do a little bit of filming?" Like. Yeah, no, it was great, man. I was super stoked once you guys started coming in, and I was like, you guys are those guys from the internet. So,
but how did you get in here though? What was
I was originally working at a ski and snowboard shop back in Ontario, and the main snowboard head buyer manager at that shop, he knew the manager at this shop, and they were like close friends from back in the day.
Nice.
And so anyway, he called the manager that was out here.
Is that shop still around?
Yeah, it's called Corbett's.
Corbett's
in Oakville.
Shout out Corbett's Oakville.
Yeah, man, and it was my buddy Scott Taylor, Scott Tails, and to this day I owe that guy a lot because he really pushed for me to get a job out here. And then
did Scott move out here? Or?
No, Scott had been out here before. He had spent like a season out here.
Nice.
But yeah, anyway, so he knew the manager at the time, and even upon his recommendation, I still didn't get the job. I called here and I was like, at the time the guy's name was Rick, he was our manager, and I was like, hey man, Rick, like, I really want a job. And he was like, dude, you know what, like, we just don't give jobs to people like unless they're here. You gotta be here, you gotta be like having a place here, otherwise I can't guarantee you a job. And I was like, oh dude, I'm moving out there, I already have a place. I had like scoped out a place through my buddy. Anyway, at the time, my uncle also ran a ski and snowboard shop. My uncle owns a ski and snowboard shop in Barrie, Ontario. And he
That's probably like the mecca of snowboarding in Ontario, Barrie.
Yeah,
Collingwood, Barrie area.
Yeah, well, there's Mount St. Louis and
Yep.
Snow Valley and Horseshoe Valley. There's a lot of snowboarding in there.
Yep.
Anyway, so my uncle, he owns a ski and snowboard shop. He took my resume and he emailed my resume to like 4 or 5 different ski and snowboard reps. And all of those reps ended up sending my resume to this store, to Rick.
Yeah.
And so Rick calls me back and he's like, I just opened my email and there's 5 different reps that have all just sent me like your resume. He was like, I'd be a real jerk if I didn't hire you. So
Nice.
I'm going to hire you because you seem to have tried really hard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you made it. So how many years ago was that?
That was, this is my 7th year out here, my 7th winter. So that was 2013.
So how was your riding progressed? Because I know for myself, like my first year out here, I was like sitting on the side of the slope, like halfway down. The runs are so long compared to Ontario. How do you feel like your riding has progressed over the last 7 years?
I think when you move here, you just accept the fact that you suck. You're just like, man, I suck. I can't do this. You know what? I'm just going to go and I'm going to try my hardest every day.
Yeah.
And it's like somewhere in your 3.5 year, like my 3.5 season in, I was like, I don't suck anymore. I'm actually pretty good at this. And then I started realizing like, I'm probably better than the average tourist. But
yeah, because like the terrain out here is like very unique. It's massive. There's so much to explore, so it can definitely be overwhelming. And you love the trees, so
I moved out here for the backcountry, for trees, for slack
Nice.
country, for powder riding. Because in Ontario, there's a lot of groomer riding, but there isn't a lot of like off-piste exploration.
Yeah.
And I was always growing up watching these awesome videos, you know, Nicholas Mueller in the backcountry ripping around off of powder pillows. And I'm like, man, that's what I want to do. So when I moved out here, I put all of my emphasis on learning how to go powder snowboarding. And by the way, I had no idea what I was doing. I remember the first time I was in like proper powder, my friends were like, follow me, man. And I went to carve in powder, like hard carve, and just was like, and just totally fell over and somersaulted, tomahawked. It was terrible.
Nice. So you've been working in the Comor shop here, and like I can imagine over the years, like you've just accumulated all this knowledge of like working in a shop. Would working in a snowboard shop, do you think it's like been something like a good thing for the experience living in Whistler? Like, do you find that you have more days of riding and you kind of like are immersed in the industry as well?
Well, first and foremost, I've been working in this industry since I was 16. I used to work at Sport Check Square One back in the day, if you guys know where Square One is. And that's like one of the busiest, biggest shopping malls in all of Canada. Definitely the biggest one in Ontario.
Is that in Oakville?
No, it's in Mississauga.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I worked there when I was really young, and then I worked at my uncle's shop as well in Barrie, and then I worked at Corbett's, which is also a ski and snowboard shop.
Yep.
And now I work here for the last 7 years. So I've been working in this industry since I was like 16, so it's been a while.
So the knowledge is accumulated.
Yeah, the knowledge is accumulated, man. Like I remember selling the original BOA boot. Like back when there was only like a couple of them. I think it was like an Airwalk boot or something.
Yeah.
And they were terrible. They were just for like lazy people that didn't want to do up their boots, and they always broke, and they really sucked, and they didn't recoil back in the day. But nowadays, you know, BOA's a $4 billion company. They're fantastic.
That was back in the day too, where every snowboard had pretty much the same shape. That like
and we're 4 times as heavy.
Yeah, 4 times as heavy, very stiff. Like if you weren't riding like almost like the stiffer your board, the more like cred you had on the mountain. So.
Oh yeah, my parents started me on a Custom X, which is like the world's premium free ride stiff snowboard, you know?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you're in a skier family, keep up, you know?
Yeah, that's a good choice actually. Yeah. Nice stiff board.
Going 100 miles an hour. But no, man, definitely working at the shop has made me feel very immersed in the industry. It's a good way for me to feel like I'm connected to snowboarding. And I've always felt, you know, that connection to snowboarding. Even when I was a kid, even when I was in high school, I was like the kid reading through the Burton catalog vlog, circling off which one I wanted to buy, making recommendations to my friends, watching. There was this YouTube channel back in the day. It wasn't even a channel. It was this guy Robin Taylor. I don't know if you know him. But he made this this thing called Crap Netto, and they were all these kind of like skit comedy snowboarding sketches that they were filmed in Whistler, and we would always watch them and just be like, man, Whistler looks like the coolest place ever. Like, they're doing these fun skits, they're going snowboarding, everybody's jokes, everybody's like into it.
That's what it was like, really. Like, just riding, you can kind of get caught up in it a little bit too much, even like just riding, having a good time, hanging out with friends. But yeah, I guess Whistler's the place to do that. So lots of knowledge gained, and I guess like with customers coming in, like, is that part of connecting with people in the industry as well? Is that like a very like rewarding type feeling, getting people into their first setup? Yeah,
that's like my whole like life affirmation, is the fact that I'm helping people get onto the hill. It's like snowboarding is my religion, and I am the pastor, and I'm trying to like get you into my religion. I'm like, if you only just believe in yourself and in snowboarding, then like true happiness will come to you. And people are like, oh man, like, and I'm like, just envision the snow in your face, the wind in your hair, the laughter of children all around you. It's an amazing powder day experience. And they're just like, yeah, man, I can't wait. And I'm like, you gotta believe it. Like, do you want this? And they're like, yeah, I want this, man. I want this. And I'm like, oh man, 10 days, you're gonna be so much better at it. Like, I can't wait. So yeah, especially when like I help that person who's been looking for that one thing for forever. Like, they've never had a proper fitting pair of boots, or they've never had a board that was the right size, or they've never bought like their own setup of new gear. So when I have that experience and I'm like, man, you're finally dialed, this is going to be 10 times better for you now. And especially when they come back and they're like, dude, you were right. I was on such an old, terrible piece of crap. Like, this is amazing. Thank you so much for showing me this. Like,
I think before we knew each other, we probably had some kind of connection through like people coming to Whistler, because you were probably setting them up with gear, and then I was maybe like teaching them to ride, or like taking them around the mountain. So we kind of had that like synergy before we even knew each other, possibly. So maybe that's why we became friends. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's fun like exposing people to the sport.
And I was gonna say too, like, when you're in Whistler, everybody's on the same page. Do you feel that? Like, everybody's here to go snowboarding. They're all stoked. Everybody's like, oh man, do you see the snow on the hill? Do you see what's going on? You hear about the snowpack? You know, like, oh, the freezing levels are down. Like, even right now, it's pouring rain in the village, but everybody is stoked that it's snowing at the top.
Yeah, we're getting snow. It's like about halfway up the mountain, the snow line, and I feel like it's just creeping down every day. So, the snow's coming soon. Do you have any goals for this season? Like, do you have any just riding goals, or like areas you want to explore, or even boards you want to ride, or even just like professional goals being in Whistler?
Yeah, so I mean, I always try to ride at least 90 days a season. So I want to get about 90 days, mainly in the morning.
Nice.
And I definitely want to just expand my range of reviews, because I've ridden a lot of different boards, and I want to make more videos about talking about them. And
yeah, guys, check it. I'll put a link at the end in the description. Andreas's YouTube channel is called Andreas Schubert. Do you want to spell that for everybody?
Andreas, and then Schubert is Schubert. And there's two Andreas Schuberts on YouTube. One of them is a German truck driver. He makes a channel all about German truck driving. And I'm sure it's great, but I don't speak German, so I don't know anything about it. And then I'm the other Andreas Schubert on YouTube, and I just hit 1,000 subscribers, so I'm really stoked. I'm really happy.
Man. Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Andreas is getting board reviews up and everything, so the goal this year, ride lots of boards, review boards. What about just in terms of like, riding in general? Do you have like some goals like of more types of riding you want to do, or like more zones you want to get to? I know you get into the trees quite a bit.
Yeah, so like my main thing is free riding, and I think that I'm always working on my technical capabilities of getting those tight weavy arcs through the trees, through the tight stuff. I think at this point I'm pretty well versed at it, so I'm just trying to maintain, but I might try a few little park things this year because
Nice,
I
yeah.
do very little freestyle riding, and it's not that I can't, I just don't. So
Yeah, it's a fun kind of thing to do, like when there's no powder. It's like I feel like Whistler, when there is the snow, we just get into the trees or into the alpine and riding powder. But it's fun if it's like sunny and it's all just kind of crusty out there to stay in bounds on some groomers and maybe into some park stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to expand. But yeah, it's also fun to get into the trees. Any trips like you're looking at this year? I know last year we went to Revelstoke together, and that was amazing. We didn't have the best conditions, but we did a few split boarding days. Is there any like
I
trips
still
you're
had
thinking
a
of?
hoot on that
Yeah,
trip.
dude, yeah.
I had a hoot riding those groomers nice and fast. Well, we'll see, man. It's I want to get out to Nelson at some point this season.
Nice.
I've got a cousin that lives out in Nelson, and she keeps bugging me to come out there because they've got really awesome like backcountry riding.
Yeah, I've heard amazing trees, quiet resorts.
Yeah, and then I was I don't know, I'm playing with the idea of Japan, but we'll see if I can get it off of work.
Yeah, well, let's we'll keep you in the loop. I know Chris is like talking about coming as well.
Have you booked it yet?
We haven't booked it, but we're looking at the last 2 weeks of August for Japan. Yeah, and that's
Last 2 weeks of August.
Sorry, the last 2.
of
My
January?
seasons are reversed. Last 2 weeks of January. Yeah. So yeah, it's the best place for trees, man. So.
I really, really want to go, but here's the thing, Kevin. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like not a very good traveler. I have like maybe a little bit of like airplane fright. Not that I'm like gonna grab on you and be like, ah! But I kind of want to at least travel in a group. I'm not good at traveling by myself. I want to like sit beside somebody. I want to sit beside Chris or something. I don't know that I'm gonna like handle a flight to Japan on my own very well. So it's got to be it's got to be with you guys.
If you book it on Japan Airlines, you know you'll be, as soon as you get on the plane, you get into that Japanese culture, and they're very much about like calm, Zen. So that could be that might put you at ease when you get on the plane. They give you like a hot towel and some nice little, maybe some tea. I'm serious. They're all like very nice, very Zen, very quiet, but it's not like a crazy, maybe a flight to Mexico where everyone's like kind of like getting into party mode.
Too bad I can't drive to Japan.
You can take a boat. You could to get a month off work. Nice, man. So because you're riding a lot of trees, what are some of the boards that are just sticking out in your mind for this season?
Oh man. Well, there's always a few boards that I'm looking at. There's always boards that I'm wanting to try and test. There's a few this season. One of them would be the Stump Ape. I kind of want to try a Stump Ape. It's like a skunk ape, but made shorter. It's made more stunted. So it's a 28 waist width underfoot. It's super wide.
Made more for like riding in the trees and like deep stuff?
Yeah, surfy feeling, deep powder. I kind of want to get onto a nitro cannon, big pink as they call it.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind doing a couple of like super awesome long-turned powder rips off of the back of Seventh Heaven on that.
Just get into a big, it's like a massive swallowtail board. It'd be really fun for just big alpine, long big turns.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then another part of me wants a Yes 2020 because the Yes 2020 is such a cool, unique thing with the powder hull and the tip and the tail for flotation and draft. And then another part of me wants to get a Yes Optimistic too, because those things are pretty great for carving. Super wide,
nice,
wicked edge control, great for powder.
So what are your personal boards for this year?
Well, last season I got a Orca 159, and I also got a Jones Mind Expander 162. This season, probably going to get either a Stump Ape or a Hypercarve by GNU.
Nice.
Hypercarve is Blake Paul's snowboard, and he's a wicked free rider, so...
Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking about one of those two, and then I'm thinking about either a Nitro Cannon or a Yes 2020, and then I'm also thinking about maybe just getting another Skate Banana. You ever ridden a Skate Banana? Just like a full-blown rockered snowboard?
I've never ridden one, no. I've ridden a full rockered board before, but not the Skate Banana before.
It's the tried and true original banana board.
It is.
Started the rocker craze.
So that could kind of be your like intro to park board, sort of.
Well, yeah, at least spins.
Jibby.
It's more jibby for sure, like jibby and pressy. Great for doing presses on boxes. Great for getting spins. Great for flatland.
Yeah, nice, man. Cool. Sweet. Yeah, let's check out a few people's questions here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're tuning in late, interviewing Andreas Schubert here in Comor, Whistler. Check out Andreas' channel on YouTube as well. Yeah, let's see if anyone has any questions here for Andreas. All right. So Dylan saying, oh, he said, yeah, you're from Ontario, right? Where are you from in Ontario again? Like, what's your main stomping grounds in Ontario?
So I'm from Mississauga, which is the suburbs of Toronto. So I mean,
Nice.
Toronto is the closest city on the map. And then, yeah, I guess a little bit more specifically, the 403 in Winston Churchill. Yeah, that's the highway and that's the intersection. So, no, yeah, I don't know. I was sort of like raised in the suburbs, but fairly close to Toronto. So,
Nice. And Mattis wants to know, what was the name of that snowboard shop in Barrie?
oh, Gates and Boards. Yeah, that's my uncle's store, Gates and Boards.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Chris is here.
What's up, Chris?
Oh, and Elstacker's here too.
And Sam Murphy, anyone suggests, anyone meaning Andreas, a good all-mountain powder board that is a good all-mountain board that is also good in POW?
Well, there's a lot of them. You know, something like a Travis Rice board or a GNU Rider's Choice would be a fantastic option. Those guys have the rocker section between the feet so that when you lean back on one end, you get more float. Another staple to this town would be something like the Burton Flight Attendant. Those things are awesome for powder. And then another one of my favorites would be the Jones Mind Expander.
Nice.
Shaped by Chris Christensen. Super surfy, super tapered, lots of waist width for flotation.
And my favorite is the Orca, just over Andreas's left shoulder there. Just there it is. I love it. Yeah, I love it on the mountain, all over the mountain, and then also just floats like a dream as well.
And people are like, what compares to the Orca? And I'm like, nothing. It's its own thing, man.
eJump Zero says, if you have a boot that still has a good outer shell condition, maybe softened a bit, but the liners has been packed out, what other option can I do other than getting custom third-party liners?
You can go onto Burton's website, for example. They sell a secondary liner. Like you can
Really?
yeah, you can.
Really?
Back in the day, they used to sell the Infinite Ride liner, and I think now they sell a Life liner as their sort of secondary option. So you can buy a high-end Burton liner. And then the other liners that you could buy for a snowboard boot would be some of the Intuition liners. Intuition is a third-party company out of Vancouver, and
Yeah.
they sell a secondary liner as well. They cost about $200, and you can go on their website and find out exactly which one would be best for the shell of your boot, because there's a whole bunch of different ones that they sell.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got the knowledge there. All right, let's do a couple more here. All right, lots of people saying this is awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. All right. Patrick says, I'm a second-year boarder at 6 feet tall and 250 pounds. What board would you recommend for me if I want an all-mountain board that is good for carving and can also handle powder?
I would say something probably on the bigger side, like a 162 or a 165. Depends as well on your boot size, because I would assume that at that height and weight, you're probably like an 11 or a 12. So you're probably going to want a wide board.
Yep.
If you're looking for carving and powder, I would say something like a Jones Flagship would be fantastic. You know, camber underfoot, big rockered shovel in the front, a 3D spoon bevel for flotation so that it really handles well in the deeper stuff. Yeah, that would be a great board for carving and for powder, as well as something like a Yes Optimistic, the one I was talking about before. That's a great board that's naturally wide, and the wider boards just hold a great edge, and then it's got a really big front shovel and a pin tail. So it makes
Nice.
for a board that carves really well, but floats really good too.
And Dylan wants to know, hey, can you guys tell me thoughts on the 2020 Solomon 6-piece?
6-piece?
I don't even know that board.
No, it's not one of the ones that we carry here, unfortunately. We do the 6-stick, we do the Taka, we do the Villain, and the Assassin and Assassin Pro, and the Huck Knife. But yeah, haven't done anything on the
We'll have to look up that.
Six-piece,
We'll have to
yeah.
look up that board and get back to you.
I think it might be similar to the Sleep Easy.
And Borealis B says, I just bought my split solution from Comor.
Oh,
Nice.
wicked, yeah. Thanks, man.
Do you know that person? Borealis, does that ring a bell? That might not be the name there.
I'm not sure. I mean, I meet a lot of people in a day. But yeah, the Solution's a fantastic split board. It's the one that Kevin's got. It's the best-selling split board in the world. It's got the Karakoram clips. It's got the Magna Traction inside edge. It's got the anti-stick top sheet. It's nice and firm. It's a flagship made split.
Adam Bad Rider says, "Hey Andreas, I'll bring my Switch. We can rock Mario Kart while flying to Japan."
Oh,
there you go.
Then I won't be nervous.
All right. All right. Let's do one more. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, guys, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, Banana Dude says, "Skate Banana is the worst board." Wow, coming from a guy whose name is Banana Dude. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like any other banana like references.
I guess that the Skate Banana just is not indicative to your riding style. It's definitely a more playful, jibby, surfy, fun board. It's great for hardpack. It's definitely not like a big mountain freeride board. So if you're the kind of guy who's trying to tackle like big steeps, drops, trees, no, it may not be the best board in those conditions. But
what are some of the other gear that you're hyped on for the season? Like, so we got your boards. Like, what are your boots, bindings, outerwear? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's a few different things that I'm eyeing up, but I always get a new pair of Now Drive bindings every season.
Really?
Yeah, they're by JF Pelchat. Now bindings are specifically designed here in Whistler. I think they're fantastic because of the skate tech technology. I know JF myself. I've met him a bunch of times, and the Drive is originally by Jeremy Jones. Now Jones has their own brand of bindings, but the bindings are skate tech technology bindings, so it's technically a Now patent just made for Jones, but it's still like a Now binding by Jones. So I really like the Now bindings, and the Drive was originally the Drive by JJ. Now it's not called the JJ anymore because Jeremy Jones has his own brand of bindings that are using the Now skate tech technology.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's a great binding. It's a great free ride binding. It's like an 8 out of 10 flex, and the skate tech makes the board feel really lively and springy, and it gives it a lot of energy.
What about your boots?
So the boots that I'm going to wear are probably going to be Solomon Lo-Fi's. The Lo-Fi is a fantastic boot. It was designed by Bodie Merrill. It's got their mutation technology, which means that they've built a one-piece urethane into the high back of the boot, which maintains the flex of the boot over the longevity, over the life of the boot. And it also makes the boot rebound a lot. So the more you flex into it, the more it springs back. It gives you a lot of that energetic feel when you're carving back and forth edge to edge.
Cool. And then any outerwear that's catching your eye?
Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm still trying to decide what jacket I'm going to buy this year. I was looking at the Volcom Brian Iguchi jacket. It's like their new stretch gore. It's bright yellow. It's such a cool jacket. I just don't know about the yellow, because yellow is so bright and poppy, and it's great for like being on video and people knowing you, but then it also kind of gets dirty maybe slightly.
True.
You ever worn a yellow jacket, Kevin?
No, yes, I have, yeah. But it was kind of like a gold, but it did, yeah, I can see that. This one's like a very bright yellow. If we get the same jacket, that'll be cool, right?
I don't know, man.
I've been looking at it as well. That yellow jacket is pretty...
You've been looking at it. I've been looking at it. One of the guys in the shop already bought it, so now I feel like I can't buy it because one of the guys in the shop has it, and we're all going to hang out. And I definitely can't have the same jacket as you, because then we can't ride together, because then everyone's going to be like, oh, are you on...
we can't. No, we'll be like a crew. But I like it. I love the stretch Gore-Tex. Like, you can't... So here in Whistler, we also get a lot of wet winters, so having like Gore-Tex is great to stay dry, and then the stretch Gore-Tex just allows you to move like so freely. Mm-hmm. So maybe we could go try on some jackets after this.
Yeah, of course,
Check
man.
them out.
I want to get a nice like new AK down as well to go under the shell. So
nice, yeah, nice mid layer, yeah.
Yeah, and awesome. I think I might do Volcom pants again. I like the bright blue that they do. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the interview. That was good. That was great.
I was super nervous to reveal all of my secrets, and
that's all of Andreas's secrets. If you guys are in Whistler, come say hello to Andreas at Comor. It's in the village, and yeah, he's like the snowboard guru in town. So
I know quite a bit about snowboards, I hope.
Yeah, man, I've learned so much just in this one conversation. So Yeah, thank you, man. All right, guys. If you guys have more questions for Andreas, head over to his YouTube channel, Andreas Schubert. I'll put a link in the description below for you guys to check out.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. Another snowboard interview coming soon. See you guys.
Bye.